Here we go, episode 131 of the Hardline Sports Talk. Michael Merlo, John Michael Masiri here with you for the first time in person in a very long time. JM, how are we doing on this fine Wednesday evening?
Doing good, dude. Gotta love this weather. Let's just get that started.
It was great.
Okay,
it's great.
Are you crying that the cold weather is on its way out right
no,
now?
I'm really,
or are you good?
I'm really happy, and it's not too hot. So
yeah, it's good. It's good right now. It's good right now. This isn't gonna last very long. All of a sudden, it's gonna be like 85 every day.
That's when I have the problems.
Very hot.
That's when even today or a couple of days ago, you walk outside and they're like, yeah, it's gonna be 70. It's gonna be nice, and it feels like 85 outside in the sun.
You know what was a summer problem I forgot that I have? When I put my phone in my car and I'm driving, it heats up, it overheats.
Where do you put it? In the sun?
I put it in front of the gear shifter, but I think it's because it's exposed to the sunlight.
You don't keep the phone between your legs, near the family jewels there?
You do? What about when it vibrates, dude?
I'm not gonna comment on that.
That's Michael's see a dirty little secret right there.
Yeah, that's where I keep the phone. And then when I need it, or I keep it under my fat here on my side, and it
crazy,
right on my right leg. And sometimes if I go like this, lean forward, it'll stick there. It'll stay.
It sticks?
Not stick. I should say stick. But I'll be able to hold it there. It'll stay in place.
Nice glasses today, dude.
Yeah, no glasses. The ring light, it reflects. So I'm blind looking into the camera, but here I'm fine.
I'm going to move it. I'm going to slightly move it so you don't know where it is.
I probably wouldn't, yeah. I mean, I could barely see it. Yeah. I could barely even tell you that says Canon. If I didn't know it said Canon, I wouldn't know. But
it's actually not that bad. That's not bad.
That's pretty bad. It's right in front of us.
It's not that bad. It's kind of small. I got to squint a little to see that.
It's right. Maybe you need glasses.
Yeah,
then.
I do. No, I do need glasses.
I can't make... There's a picture of JM and his family straight ahead of us. I've seen the picture a million times, but if I couldn't make that.
Yeah, no way.
The faces are blurry.
No way.
Okay, enough bantering here. Housekeeping before we get to the New York Knickerbockers possibly choking this thing away.
Take it easy, dude.
Please make sure you're liking and subscribing on YouTube. We appreciate the support and love the support. Liking and commenting and rating us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We appreciate that as well. Leave comments on the YouTube. Leave comments on the social media pages. We love to see it all the time. Send us questions in. We'd love to answer them. And voicemails, of course. Send us videos. We want to have those on. Always, so if we can keep that up, we'd like to do that. Okay, Jam. New York Knicks had it almost feels too dramatic, but a Reggie Miller-esque moment at Madison Square Garden Tuesday night there.
I mean, it's not too dramatic. It, as a Knicks fan, is probably the worst loss that I've ever experienced. Certainly at the top of the list.
In your 22 years of life.
In my actual 11 years of watching them, it's probably at the top of the list. Now, obviously, first thing we got to talk about is the incredible play by Maxey there at the end. Two, I was asking myself this question in the car today. Of those two shots he hit at the end, of the N1 3 and the logo 3, which one to you was more impressive?
I think because he kind of I don't want to say he initiated the contact, but he was contacted by Robinson. He was off balance. I'd probably say the first one.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree.
But the second one, he was moving a little bit. It was from over 30 feet, maybe 35
feet easily. Yep. It was on the E of New York on the logo. It was just outrageous. But you know what? I like to look at this as a positive, from a positive mindset of saying we stole one in game 2 with that ridiculous ending. And shout out to my brother who was sitting right there on the couch and said to me with 3 minutes left in the game, dude, I don't think any game could get crazier than game 2. And I looked at him and I said, can you not say that with 3 minutes left in the game?
Yeah.
Boy, oh boy. Is that a jinx? Because it certainly did get crazier, or at least just as crazy with that ending to put it in overtime right there. So we're even. They stole one. We stole one.
It's close, man. This is a close series.
It really is. This isn't even speaking from a Knicks fan perspective, just from a basketball fan perspective. Mm-hmm. I don't think I could be reminded of a series within the last couple of years that has been better than this series. Every single game has
especially
been
first round
down to the wire. Every single game with 1 minute left, each team has a chance to win it, and there have been some crazy surprise endings.
Yeah, they're both. I mean, you say game 2, the Knicks stole that one. Like, you look at this one, the Sixers stole this one. These two teams are very evenly matched. The only game that was even remotely, run away with by one team was, I think, it was at game 3. Philadelphia won the first game at home, and they absolutely had to have that game. But yeah, this series is so tight. It's two teams. They're very close geographically. They're very close. It's a rivalry here. Mm-hmm. But one thing I have to say, okay, the reason why this is a disaster, that game 5 is a disaster, because JM, you can't tell me up 6, 26 seconds to go, you're sitting there saying, who are we going to play in the second round?
Oh, absolutely.
You're sitting there about to watch the Pacers and the Bucks saying, is this going to be we have to watch this game. Yeah. This could be potentially a team that we play in the next round. How do you not, as a player, feel like you're in the next round?
Yeah, no, absolutely. It was a disaster is the correct word. It was just an absolute meltdown. You could look at a couple of things. Obviously, Josh Hart missing that first free throw has a lot to do with it. I mean, you have a much more comfortable lead there if he makes the free throw. The Knicks not fouling there. I know that's not sort of Tibbs' mentality. Tibbs is a defensive-minded guy. He doesn't like giving away free points. He likes to, he'd rather try and let them make the difficult shot, which they did. Right. So, there's a couple different things you could point. And then into overtime, you could really see the fatigue setting in, or the whole game, the offense, the whole series really, at least the last couple of games, has been exactly what we've seen out of the Knicks over the past couple of months, and that's thriving off of Jalen Brunson, but living and dying with Jalen Brunson. When it comes down to it, and, the Knicks need a scoring option, after Jalen Brunson, it's OG Anunoby, it's Dante DiVincenzo, it's been Miles McBride, it was Bojan Bogdanovic, he got hurt, Bojan.
And these are good players.
But they're good players, but they're not number 2 scoring option. No. That's really where Randall missing hurts you. And listen, OG has done a fantastic job. And he really, I think, surprises some people with how good he is on the offensive end. We always love to talk about his defense, but he's a very good offensive player who can create his own shot. But listen, Dante DiVincenzo is a guy in this series who really, I think, needs to step it up. I mean, he was 1 for 7 yesterday. Yeah. Only played 26 minutes. Didn't really make any big shots. I think maybe he had his first 3 in the fourth quarter there, but you need to rely on guys like this if you're going to be able to win the series.
And are you able, and this was the problem coming into the postseason that we discussed, are you able to lean on Jalen Brunson and the minutes that he plays and just the overall wear and tear on his body? Like, he is everything for this team. You look just across, on the other team. Sure, Joel Embiid's 65-70% of himself, and he's a douche. We'll talk about him in a minute. But listen, that he turned the ball over in Game 5 a lot.
Yeah.
But he gave you a gritty performance. He had a triple-double. He had 5 blocks in the game. So he's diving for balls late in that game too, which is surprising because he's soft.
Yeah.
But either way, you have to give him credit on this bum knee. He's making plays for them. It wasn't the scoring night from him that you expect, but he made some plays.
One thing that there's 2 takeaways that I had from that game. The first thing is you can really, I think, start to see the fatigue in Embiid now. Like, he's really starting to look slow out there. And he's got a lot of shots that are coming up short, which has to do with fatigue. Number 2, I really think that Bogdanovic's injury is something that we need to talk about a little bit more, because there were multiple moments in that game yesterday where, Brunson was making some shots and OG was making some shots and, Miles McBride came in, made a few shots, but you were looking for that wing to come in and score some points. And unfortunately, they didn't have that option. And the biggest thing is they couldn't hit threes. And Bogdanovic is a guy who can hit the 3 and has been pretty reliable the last couple of weeks of the season to make those shots. So they're really going to need to step up their shooting in Game 6 if they want a chance to close out this series.
It's Josh Hart. Is Josh Hart a guy that's capable of playing 53 minutes and being productive throughout most of that game, and then relying on him to be the guy that you need him to be 2 days later.
Well, that's the thing is you don't.
I know you don't have
Knicks,
the guys.
The Knicks don't want to be in that position where they need Josh Hart to be a guy that scores 20 points. Unfortunately, like I said, Randall's injury and now especially Bogdanovic's, you lose another scorer right there. When DiVincenzo is off, all of a sudden Josh Hart is moving up the scoring option rankings, and you're going to rely on this guy to make shots that you probably shouldn't have to rely on him for. And that's just the unfortunate situation.
And these guys have been great all year, you know, and you don't want to rag on them now, but you know we're late in this season. We're at a big moment in this season where, listen, you could argue that the momentum may have shifted now to Philadelphia as you go back to Philadelphia for Game 6 in what should be just an amazing scene. Did you see the Philadelphia owners? You see what they did?
Crazy.
Well, listen. Okay, I see it from both sides. I think it's a good thing that they bought 2,000 tickets up. It saves face because obviously these owners are able to just jack up the prices knowing that these crazy-ass Knicks fans are going to make the 2-hour drive, and for some of them probably shorter, and invade that stadium. So at least you just bought yourself 2,000 seats at least you're going to be able to give tickets out to. But this is a game that fills the stadium in a Philadelphia fan sense. That game, that comeback, that effort from those two guys, from your stars in that game, that fills the stadium for Philadelphia fans.
I really don't think it was a matter of, they were down 2-0, they gave up, they didn't want to go to the game because, that game 4 was really where the comments came from. And they were at 2-1 at that point. I think it's just a matter of, they're so close geographically. The Knicks fans are hungrier because Philly's been in the playoffs for years now. The Knicks have been in the playoffs the past couple of years, but we haven't really had a team that we think could win the NBA championship until this year. So I think these fans are hungrier than ever. The fans love this team. I mean, JJ Redick said it best. No matter what happens in this series, and obviously if they lose the series, the Knicks, it's going to put a little stain on this, but this team it's going to have a nostalgia about them, right? They're the team that New York has fully fallen in love with, right? They have that whole gritty, they out-hustle everybody. They play great defense. They represent blue-collar New York and everything like that.
They do.
The city has fallen in love with this team. So I think that has to do with a major reason of why that stadium was flooded by Knicks fans.
Yeah, it was impressive. It's definitely impressive. And they looked, that was not a good look for the 76ers fans. And by the way, they're the third team in that city, too. I think Eagles are 1, Phillies are 2, Sixers are 3 in that city.
They do love their Flyers, too. They
do like the Flyers. They play in the same ugly building.
Wait, who did you say was 1?
The Eagles. The Eagles are 1.
Yeah.
They love their Eagles down there.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah. And they're psychopaths.
Just going forward, though, I do...
They win in Game 6. I think this goes 7.
I was saying this today. It's like, number one, the fact that if it goes 7, that's just not good for my mental health. And then
how do you feel? Just take your mental health out of it. Looking at the game, because I'm looking at this as from an unbiased standpoint. Okay, and I want Game 7 because that's more entertaining for the unbiased person here. Do you feel confident going to that game? Well, you're unbiased,
obviously the Sixers carry momentum, having won 2 in a row, and now it's like, oh my God, we can't choke this 3-1. That being said, it is a winner go home scenario. It's 0-0, right? And you are the home team. So if we were on the road, oh my God, like I would be crapping my pants.
Yeah. Like me after Dog Night.
I don't even want to think about this right now. I'm just going to focus on Game 6. What I was going to say, though, about a potential Game 7, going back to the Game 7.
Yeah, sorry.
And we're just talking hypotheticals here. Obviously, from a fan perspective, you don't want this to go 7. You want them to be able to close out in 6. But also, like, I don't want to have to, on a Saturday at 7 o'clock, like, be all stressed out about a Game 7. And, like, I just want to, it's the weekend. Let me relax.
Well, hold on.
My team's got a ticket in the next round. Come on.
Hold on. The NBA... School night for most, work night for most.
9 o'clock.
9 p.m. start for the 2 East Coast teams, nice 5 minutes away from each other.
Nice job.
Good job, NBA. Good job, Adam Silver. Idiot. I can't stand that. I can't stand these games on so freaking late. 9 p.m. That game's not ending until 11:30.
It's ridiculous.
For the people of the diehard fans are watching that game.
Yep.
They're gonna have to go to bed at 11:30 and wake up at 6 because we're blue-collar, hard-working people. Not me. I could sleep in and watch. But others, I'm speaking for you.
Yeah.
I'm with the blue-collar, hard-working people
it's
here.
It's not right. It's too late.
Definitely too late. All right. So do you think? So what's your prediction now? Do you because
I
the
think
people are going to be listening to this?
Listen, they're a very good road team. Brunson is the guy who he loves playing on the road. I think they're going to take it in Philly. I really do. I think Maxey had an unbelievable game. He's had an unbelievable series. He needs to be talked about more as a superstar in this league.
That was an all-time
and
performance.
he's really going to be, he's going to evolve into a top 15 player next year. Like, he could be that good. But I don't expect a performance like that again. I hope I don't turn into a meme here. And I think Embiid's fatigue's really starting to settle in. And I don't trust the Sixers role players as much as I trust the Knicks role players.
Just beyond this series here. I mean, let's just say somehow, and I'll knock on wood for you to say this, if Philadelphia was somehow win this series, how much longer can Embiid go on that leg? How much longer do you think he actually has if they had to go further?
I honestly do not know. I mean, every game you see him. He winces and he's limping, and he can't even stay in there to rebound on the free throw line. He just goes to the backcourt because he doesn't want to run down the court.
And I can't even call him soft for that. I can't.
No.
The other things I can, and him being a dirty douche, I can.
100%.
But like the
I wish we recorded last week after that flagrant on Mitchell Robinson that didn't get him ejected, because I would have been all time pissed about that.
What's the deal with these flagrants, man? I mean, first of all, can I just say something? The NBA officiating, the officials, the refereeing is the worst in all the four major sports. They're the worst. Yeah. They're the absolute worst.
Well, you know what I don't like? I understand the playoffs, like it's going to be more physical and they ramp it up and this and that, but like, why are we changing the rules about, the physicality and just letting anything get called in the playoffs? Because like, you can't have a different regular season rule book and then a different postseason rule book. It's got to all stay the same.
Well, it's just like that in every other sport. We say the same thing in football too.
Not as much though in football.
You don't think so?
They still call holdings the exact same. They're gonna call a personal foul if you hit a guy.
Well, did you think there was a flagrant? Did you think there was a flagrant
two? A flagrant two? Embiid's?
No. Of course, Embiid's was. Embiid should have been thrown out of that game.
Yeah.
And that's from an unbiased standpoint. Last night, Tuesday night, the one in, I think it was overtime.
Oh, the one that he smacked Jalen Brunson in the head?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think that's a flagrant? Yeah. You think that was intentional? Because isn't that the rule? Isn't that the rule if it's intention?
Listen, if that was just a clip I saw one time with zero context, probably not. Knowing the way Joel Embiid has been acting this entire series, yeah, that's a flagrant.
So that's a get back. That's a get back at the Knicks for not calling it in Philadelphia
probably
the week prior.
Probably.
Okay, fair enough. No. I can live with that then. I can live with that.
Okay.
But it's like the way they... Like, how can you tell me that's a flagrant, but what he did to
Mitchell Robinson is the same exact flagrant? Yeah, no, ridiculous.
Come on, please.
That's a flagrant 2. Maybe a flagrant 3. We have to add a new level. Flagrant 3. How about that?
Called a Joel flagrant.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go. All right. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Draymond Embiid, yeah.
Well, when people are listening to this, they'll be getting ready for the game.
Yeah.
And then possibly if they're listening on Friday, they'll know what happened in Game 6, and maybe we'll be heading to a Game 7, or the Knicks will have already advanced. Can I just say this about the Knicks before we move on? Doesn't this feel like the year right now that the Knicks, like, not to add more pressure, but like Porzingis just went down. Celtics might be a little vulnerable. Dame and Giannis aren't healthy.
We'll see.
Joel's not that healthy.
It's listen. Again, we're talking way ahead.
Yes.
Focus, but it's for fun, right? We're just talking for fun.
Is this not the year?
For conversation's sake. I think they have a strong chance to get out of the East, because as good as the Celtics are, the Celtics might Celtic. You know, like they might just
They've been choking.
They might forget how to play basketball like they've done the past couple of postseasons. Now, if they actually do get to the finals, yeah, that Western Conference team most likely being either Minnesota or Denver, tough. Which that's going to be. I really wish that was the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah.
The fact that it's a semifinal game in the West right now, it's going to be incredible, that Denver and Minnesota series.
And I'm not going to say that the Knicks should win the finals. I'm just saying, get to the finals. Get out of the East. With the way it's breaking right now, you got Porzingis. He might miss some time here. He got injured the other night. Did they win tonight? Boston?
They played last night. They won.
They didn't play tonight?
Nope.
They're not playing tonight?
Nope.
Okay. I thought I saw they were playing tonight. That's on me.
You're good.
All right, let's move on here before we're going to talk NFL draft reaction. Because we've had a week, to settle in. So
they are playing tonight. I'm a casual. They're up by 32.
I knew they were playing tonight.
Yeah, they're up by 32. Yeah. What do you mean, what? They're playing the Heat with Jaime Jaquez and Tyler Hero.
Okay, didn't the Heat win in Boston a couple nights ago?
They squeezed one out. No,
okay. Wow. Sounds like me after Dollar Dog Night. A lot of references to Dollar Dog Night tonight.
Hell?
Oh, it was a Dollar Dog Night at Citi Field.
Sounds like you when you got your phone between your crotch.
That too. It's a good one. All right, we're going to tease a little NFL draft later on reaction. Week after. Right now, though, we're still sticking in the NBA. My Oogie Bear, LeBron James, eliminated the other night. You know what's really frustrating watching these games? I watched most of the series, to be honest with you, okay? Because that's how much I am savoring LeBron James, okay? I am going to make sure every postseason game he plays, I'm savoring every moment he plays, okay? Because we're going to look back in a couple of years and say, we had the greatest athlete of all time playing, and we didn't appreciate him. So that's what I've been doing. Those games are
he doesn't have that killer mentality.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, let's relax.
He's not a gambling
He's not a gambling addict, exactly.
But also, those games are so frustrating because the Lakers led for much of the series, and then when the game would get late and the Nuggets would take a lead, the Lakers would be able to tie the game. So they would tie the game, right? And then they wouldn't be able to hit the shot to give them the lead back or go on a little bit of a run. Yeah. And then the second they missed that shot, bang, a three from Michael Porter Jr.
They have zero support. I mean, it's LeBron and Anthony Davis against the world. And what a joke of a front office the Lakers are with this roster construction. You won a championship with JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard on your roster, playing Anthony Davis at the 4. Mm-hmm. And now this year, let's not have any centers, actually. Let's have Christian Wood and Anthony Davis. Let's play Anthony Davis at the 5 and just get absolutely dominated without any big men. And let's have D'Angelo Russell shoot over 100 in the series. I mean, there was zero support whatsoever. Taurean Prince was playing center at some points. I mean, just ridiculous. And obviously, Darvin Ham. I mean, that guy
fired, right?
That guy might be the most obvious fire I've ever seen in my life.
Why isn't it done already?
He might get demoted to a JV basketball coach. I feel bad, but
how does he leave himself 0 timeouts in the last 3.5 minutes of that game? I know. How is that possible?
And the quotes are just crazy. And then you have the idiots I see on Twitter, coming to defend. And when I say on Twitter, I'm talking about well-known ex-NBA players that have podcasts that are in defense of Darvin Ham, saying, what other coach would be able to lead this team to a win in the series against this Nuggets team? They have multiple 15-point leads in the series. You act like you're getting blown out every game. It's terrible coaching. They're letting them go on these huge runs that are clearly just getting out-coached.
Was it Murray last year that said even though they swept them, I forget who said it on Denver, but even though they had swept them last year, that they said that the Lakers were the toughest opponent they played.
Yeah.
And this season, they're going to face Minnesota, and Minnesota's really good. But, do you think Minnesota...
I think there's going to be a really good series.
Do you think Minnesota's going to be to lead the way they led in this game?
Oh, no.
This series,
No. I think every game will be really close, but I don't think Minnesota's going to be able to get 15-point leads the way the Lakers have. It's almost
impressive that they lost the series.
It really is. It really is.
But very frustrating because every big shot. And listen, now you give credit to Denver, right? Every big shot they needed, they hit.
I saw something today that was grade LeBron, thinking that he's going to leave in the offseason. He's, opting out of his contract, becoming a free agent. Grade LeBron's, tenure with the Lakers. I'm still going to give it I'll give it at the minimum a B+. The guy won a championship. Yes. Anytime you go to a team and you end up winning a championship, it's pretty good tenure with the team. Now, obviously, there are, several different years where maybe they came up short and, had some disappointing seasons, especially the past couple of years. But you can't really.
He won a championship.
He could win a championship.
And by the way, even though most people will remember that it was in the bubble, you're going to look back and when you glance over, when you see the Lakers won in 2020, you're going to say, oh, they won a championship. They added one.
To even to use that as an argument, I think is really stupid. They were the number 1 seed. They were the best team in the NBA that year. They were playing phenomenal. Everybody in the bubble had to play in the everybody had to play in the bubble. Like, it wasn't like the Lakers were the only team that had this advantage. Like, no, everybody had to play in the bubble. If anything, it was a disadvantage for the Lakers because they had the number 1 seed and they had 0 home court advantage the entire playoffs. So let's chill with the bubble.
It was a crappy situation for all in the bubble. But LeBron playing 40 minutes a night, playing at the level that he played at. I mean, it's just, again, it goes back to what I just said. You need to just sit there and kick back and just appreciate what you're watching, because I'm sure our parents did it with Jordan, especially, towards the end of Jordan's career, although they couldn't stand him when they were beating their Knicks. But still, you need to appreciate the greatness that you're watching, and this is not to be funny or anything. And that, I'm sitting there in my bed the other night, and I'm like, wow, this guy played 40 minutes tonight, and he played that well. And he's, 40 years old?
Pants were on or no?
Yeah, pants were on. Yeah.
You a pajama guy? Or
yeah, I go pajamas. Commando, though. So, I put, shorts on.
No way.
What?
You're free balling in shorts?
Yeah!
That's... What? That's so weird.
What?
That's so weird.
How is that
weird?
People sleep naked, and that's weird?
I do. Why am I saying this on camera right
now? That's weird?
That's better than free balling.
What do you mean you're naked? You're more than free balling. I have pants on and a shirt.
You got pants on. You're letting your shit just dangle in pajama pants.
Okay.
That's weird.
And shorts.
That's even
regular
weirder.
Shorts. Whatever shorts. I have pajama shorts. Most of the time. The other night, though, it was really hot in the house because it was 50 degrees, and then the central air wasn't going on. It was 50 degrees. But then, in the middle of the night, it, switched over. It was going to be, 70 degrees the next day. I was sweating balls.
Free balls.
Yeah, I'm walking to stores sometimes like that. I've come over here, actually, that.
Yo, get out. Yo, that's crazy. That is so weird.
I think I have.
Why do you... That's so weird.
I'm pretty sure I've done it at least once.
Oh, my God. I'm now every time I see you, what about right now?
No, I'm good right now. I got the boxers on right now, but
Jesus Christ.
That's not weird. That's not weird. Going commando is not a weird thing. It's so comfortable. We should actually normalize it.
No, we shouldn't.
Yes, we should.
Let's not do. That's the last thing we should do. Please.
I think that's what we should do. Do we have any more on Oogie here, or are we good?
I think we're good.
All right, we're going to move on here. All right, so the Nuggets and the T-Wolves here. It's a good series. And you talked about this series possibly. I mean, you wanted this series to be the one that got them the conference final game. Mm-hmm. It's not, but still, is the winner of this series going to be the team that represents the West?
I think so. I'm not trying to slight the Thunder, because the Thunder, impressive. They take care of business very easily with the Pelicans. But
that was easy.
Yeah, it was a sweep.
I've never heard of their coach before, ever in my life.
Really?
How do you pronounce his name?
Oh, I'm not even
gonna try. So there we go. I'm who is this guy? I saw he won Coach of the Year or whatever.
But we got the Met game on here. Nice, dude. Yeah. They took care of business very easily, the Thunder, but just looking at the Nuggets and the T-Wolves, they're just so good at so many different things. They have everything you could ask for. They have the star power, and I know that SGA has had a great year. He's top 3 in MVP voting, but you look at the options on this T-Wolves team of Anthony Edwards leading the charge, and Karl Anthony Towns has been the leader of this.
By the way, hold on a second. I know Anthony Edwards, good young player. I didn't know he was that good.
Yeah,
I didn't know he was
ridiculous.
the best player in that series. Good.
Yeah,
he was the best player in that series.
He was the best player in that series. Well, he's obviously a freak athlete. He can jump out of. Oh, they lost.
How did they lose?
Oh, no way.
The Mets just lost a baseball game.
Wait, is he blocking the plate? Oh, he got in there. Is he in there?
It looks like he got in there. Do they not any more challenges?
Free baseball, maybe?
It looks like they just lost a game on a potential sack. The hand came up.
This fat ass Pete Alonso doesn't know how to use his hands.
It's a bad loss if they lose the game.
He's thinking about Shake Shack in center field before he knows he's got to be safe.
I think he's in there. They got to review this here.
That's a bad call if he's like
back to Ed.
But the guy can jump out of the gym, and he's also a very good defender.
Do people still think Jordan's his dad?
That's like a thing. Well, that's the thing now is they're trying to say that like he's gonna be the next Jordan. Like that's what I wanted to say this when we started talking about the Thunder. I mean the T-Wolves and how good Anthony Edwards is. Anthony Edwards, I think, has the chance to be like a top 5, top 3 player in the league. Like he could be the face of the NBA very soon, especially if they like win the championship. I mean, he will be. However, can we like pump the brakes a little bit here? Like I know how he's an incredible athlete and he looks like Michael Jordan and he's like a shooting guard. You know, he fits that. Oh, first it was Jordan, then it was Kobe. You know, then it's him. You want to throw D Wade in there, whatever. Just relax. Let's relax, all right? Let's not start throwing around, a top 2 player of all time, Michael Jordan here, and, a top 13 player in Kobe Bryant. Like,
top 2, he ain't one.
Let's relax here, okay?
Can I also ask this question?
But he's incredible. What?
How much of a, you put these 3 players together, right? You put KD, Booker, Beal together. Yeah. No, how much of a disappointment is this?
Well,
because I know they weren't that great this year. Like, I know they had their issues this season. But, still, you put these 3 guys together.
I mean, what were they? They were top 4 in the NBA in finals odds. Before the season started, they were top 4 in the NBA in finals.
I mean, I remember, doing preseason, just looking at preseason stuff, this team is going to win the NBA Finals. They were one of the favorites.
It was them, the Bucks, the Celtics, and the Nuggets. Yep. Now, I think what the Suns did is, if I'm their GM, I'm kind of kicking myself right now because this team made the finals in 2021 with mainly homegrown talent. I mean, you had Chris Paul, but you also had Devin Booker, you drafted him. You had Mikal Bridges, you drafted him. You had Cam Johnson, you drafted him. DeAndre Ayton, you drafted him. So this was a homegrown team that they built up for, a lot of it was just sucking for years and having high draft picks, but still, you got to draft the right player. And then, they make the trade for KD last year, and they ship off some of their homegrown talent, including Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson. And, you say, oh, they're really giving up a lot there, but, it is for Kevin Durant. Then they do the thing with Bradley Beal this offseason. They really thin out the bench. They trade Ayton. And all of a sudden, you're looking at Danilo Gallinari, a guy who I thought was playing in China at this point, getting valuable minutes in a playoff game. The depth on this team is, I think, really what hurt them, and the fact that they never had a true point guard.
And that's what I was about to ask. They don't have a point guard. I'm looking through the box. They don't have a point guard.
Yeah, and they try to say that as we have guys who can handle the ball.
And Frank Vogel, didn't Frank Vogel say something like he wanted a point guard later in the year, and they didn't give him one?
Safe.
Wow.
Oh my God! I would love to have heard that explanation.
That was a long explanation.
Holy crap.
The Mets just lost a baseball game. They just lost a baseball game. It was a pop fly. A fly out. Sack fly, possibly. Pete's chugging along. Looks like he beats the throw. He can't get the hand down. I don't know the explanation here. They call him out. I think he was out. I actually think he was out.
But
I do think he was
in there for so long. How did he not get his hand on the plate? His shoulder was past the plate.
I mean, I'll see what Twitter says because obviously we're not listening to the broadcast at the moment. But that's a bad loss for the Mets here.
Goodness.
Who lose 1-0. You have second and third one out. You have the fly out to
that's insane.
Hopefully tie the game there, and then they lose.
That's really insane. Anyways, going back to the Suns. Yeah, they said it in the offseason. They were like, yeah, we don't need a point guard. We have guys who can handle the ball. Booker can handle the ball. Beal can handle the ball. Okay, yeah, you have guys who can dribble and, make isolation moves or whatever, but
dribble.
You don't have exactly. You don't have a playmaker. Devin Booker at times can be a playmaker, but you don't have a guy out here who's going to dish the ball out, get 7-8 assists a game consistently.
Right.
You don't have that.
Do you think they trade Devin Booker?
I really think they should blow it up. They don't have
this owner's not going to blow it up.
They
He
don't
just bought the
have
team.
their own. So what are they going to do? They're going to fire Frank Vogel, just use him as the scapegoat. Because honestly, I'm really tired of KD. Like, I've been defending this guy for a long time. He was always like my favorite player as a kid. I'm really just done with him now. He's just everywhere he goes, the situation turns to crap, and it always, they always blame it on other people, and coaches get fired and this and that. Frank Vogel does not deserve to be fired. Frank Vogel's a good coach. He'll get fired.
He needed a point guard.
They should blow it up. They don't have their own first-round pick until 2031.
Well, what if they traded one of these pieces? And I'm assuming it's not going to be Kevin Durant unless he acts to be traded. But if they traded one of these guys, maybe recuperated some picks, or how about just some depth here? What if they traded? I don't know.
It's got to be.
They traded Booker, and they just got, they essentially do the Harden trade. Not the exact level, but
keep KD and Beal.
You're going to keep KD and Beal. Those are your two main scorers.
I think at that point, definitely blow it up. Because if you're going to get rid of your homegrown youngest guy on the team, guy who's got the most left in the tank, then just blow it up.
Then who would you would trade Durant?
Yeah, trade everybody.
Trade everybody but Booker.
Yeah.
And then
or trade Booker.
And then trade Booker. Or build around Booker.
This is like... What happened to the Brooklyn Nets? They gave up all their draft capital for Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce, okay? And then it didn't work out. They were washed. And then it was like, oh, crap, we don't have any picks. So we're going to suck for years now. Oh, okay. Now we get D'Angelo Russell. We have this Cinderella season, whatever. We make ourselves relevant. We're in the playoffs. Okay, now we get Kyrie, Kevin Durant, James Harden. That doesn't work out. They blow it up again. Boom, we suck again.
So you hedge your bet, essentially.
So stop.
Cut your losses.
Cut the BS with the, this doesn't work anymore in the NBA, okay? Everybody tries to recreate the Heat of 2010. That doesn't work, okay? The Heat were a special case. The Heat also had some really good role players on that team, and you're talking about prime LeBron, Chris Bosh, and Dwayne Wade, who are all Hall of Famers. LeBron's the best player that's ever played the game. The closest... people want to talk about super teams. Oh, well, JM, what about the Warriors of 2015? The Warriors, before they even got Kevin Durant, were a homegrown team. That 73-win Warriors team, Draymond Green, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, their three best players were all drafted by the Warriors. So stop trying to manufacture super teams by trading for these superstars and having no depth pieces and whatever, especially in today's NBA that is so deep, like team-wise, it's deep.
Yeah.
We're not talking about the East of years ago where the Atlanta Hawks are the biggest threat to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Okay, no disrespect to Kyle Korver, Jeff Teague, and them. But teams. This isn't the way it works anymore. So stop trying to build super teams by trading for superstars that are in their mid-30s and just slapping together a team.
All right, before we get out of here, the NBA. You got a prediction on the series?
I don't know. It's so tough to pick against Denver.
Yeah, I think Denver's going to win in 7. In 6. Denver in 6. Denver in 6.
Denver does have the home court. They're excellent at home. I'm going to say Denver in 7. I'll say Denver in 7.
Close series. Interesting series. We'll see what happens there.
Yeah.
We'll switch it over to the NFL here because, we're a week away. We're a week out now. We're a week. What's the word I'm looking for? We're a week, not out. We're a week past.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I can't speak tonight. This game. I mean, what the hell are we doing?
So no glasses.
The NFL, we're a week past the NFL draft. And you know what? I like to not think of ourselves as geniuses sometimes, right? We don't know as much as these GMs. Nobody knows as much as these GMs and these scouts, right? Not even the analysts. You would think, right? And you would hope so. And, you listen to a lot of these GMs and they talk about, well, this guy flew up our board or this guy was higher on our board when, nobody was really talking about him. And I think that's the case with Penix. And JM, I'm going to say something right now. And I think my New York Football Giants messed up big time. The New York Football Giants messed up because I got to tell you something. I think with the roster they built for this season, I don't think they're going to have the 5th or 6th pick this year. No. Okay, I think they improved the roster enough.
They'll be like 13.
They're going to be in the 10s, 12s. They're not going to have the opportunity to pick a quarterback at what's supposedly a weak quarterback draft. Yeah. They had the 6th overall pick. You have a guy that was selected 8th by a team, a guy that was high on many other teams' boards, and I'm sure he was high on the Giants' board. And, of course, Neighbors was their number one guy at the time when they were selecting. But I think I would have reached and taken the quarterback. I think they messed up. I think they should have taken Michael Penix at number 6.
Okay. I'm just going to challenge you on this real quick. I think your kind of hindsight is 2020 right here. Like, if Penix goes 13, 12, 13, whatever, to the Raiders.
Because that's where I think he was going if Atlanta doesn't take him.
I don't think you're saying this right now.
You might be right.
I think the fact that he was picked 8th is now it's installed in your brain that, oh, he's better than what I thought. We should have picked him.
Well, what's funny is if you look at some of the reports that came out, and I think I would believe this, right? A report comes out, Shane has 15 players that he grades as first-round guys. He had 15 first-round grades, okay, in this draft. He had 11 last year, 15 this year. There's a report that comes out that says the Giants really like Michael Penix. I have to believe that he had a first-round grade on Michael Penix. I think he did. And if other teams did as well, and you listen to some of these, Adam Schefters of the world say teams liked Penix more than the media did, and they weren't as worried about the injuries, and you have a situation with the Giants here where he was able to sit a full season. He didn't have to play one snap. You have 3 quarterbacks that have all had experience in the NFL. Penix didn't have to play a snap this season. You could have sat him for the full year. You could have had your potential next quarterback of the future. And instead, you don't have that. And I like Neighbors, but I just feel lost with the future of this team.
You got Tommy Cutlets. You're fun.
Yeah. And we got Drew Lock, who's going to be starting games this year.
But, all right, I have this crazy theory on the Giants. Okay, hear me out on this one.
Oh, God. Is it good or bad?
It's bad.
Oh, okay.
The Saquon Barkley pick in 2018
set them back.
Is still setting them back. Okay? Because you pick Saquon second overall. And sure, maybe, who did you want them to pick? Sam Darnold? Listen, if Sam Darnold goes to the Giants, who knows what his career looks like right now? Because we all can agree that Sam Darnold has some talent and is probably playing worse than he should be. Okay? But, maybe they loved Josh Allen. We don't know. Anyways, taking the running back and giving it one more go with Eli in 2018. We've literally been talking about this since the first episode of our podcast, which is crazy. Now it's, okay, Eli's done. Didn't work out. 2019, we need a quarterback. Okay, crappy quarterback class. Let's take Daniel Jones. Let's reach here at 6. Oh, yeah, we love, what the hell's the guy's name? Briarcliff. What's his name? The Duke guy?
Oh, yeah.
The ones that molded,
I forget his
molded
name.
Eli.
Whatever. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Okay, let's take Daniel Jones. Now, Daniel Jones doesn't work out. Okay, now it's Daniel Jones' contract year. He ends up having the best year of his career, which, by the way, was 15 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. He ran for 700 yards, whoop-de-doo. Led the Giants to the playoffs, beat a fraudulent Vikings team, then they get blown out by the Eagles. The season's over. Okay, guess what? Daniel Jones needs to be paid now. Let's give Daniel Jones a 4-year, $160 million contract extension. Okay. That's a big move right there. Year 1, plays like crap, gets hurt. Now we're in this offseason. Oh, we need a quarterback. You kind of are like 1 year off here with everything because you still have another year of Jones and you have to keep him on your roster because the potential out is after this season. They figure, you know what? Let's give it one more go with Jones. We aren't in the position to select Drake May. Let's take Neighbors. Okay, well, guess what? Most likely, Daniel Jones isn't going to be the answer after this year.
No.
Okay? And next offseason, like you were just saying, I don't think the Giants are going to be a 4-13 team. I think they're going to win around 7 or maybe 8 games, depending on how things go for them. Okay? Now you're picking 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, whatever it's going to be.
In the teens.
Okay? In the teens. Crappy quarterback class. So you're not going to take a quarterback next year. Or maybe you will. Maybe you'll reach for a quarterback again. But now guess what? You're going to keep Daniel Jones for one more year at that point, or do you just cut him? And play nobody.
So here's the scenario. Here's the scenario that I keep running through my head. What numbers if Daniel Jones is the guy? Because remember, they have that same situation that the Broncos had with Wilson. There's an injury guarantee. They have to keep him somewhat healthy, a guy that's never been healthy really for a full year other than 1 year. They have to keep him upright. So they're going to be worrying about that because they don't want to have to guarantee another year. Yep. So let's just throw that out for a minute, okay? Let's say he is given the full year to play. What numbers does he have to hit to stay on the team for the remainder 2 years where there's no guaranteed money on the back end here? So if year 3 was terrible, if he has a good year 2 here, and then year 3 was terrible, you can cut him after that. So,
well, first of all, let's cut the BS. I wanna call out Giants fans here, and I'm doing this out of the goodness of my heart. Okay, can we cut the BS with Daniel Jones? Okay, it's go time now. What is it? Year 6, year 7?
No, this is the question. What numbers?
That's what I was about to say.
Does he have to hit?
Let's cut the BS he's got so much potential, and he has no receivers, he has no offensive line. Okay, it's year 6. Okay, no more excuses. You guys think he has? You have the coach. You have the guy who helped mold Josh Allen, and now he has the number 1 receiver, the sexy pick out of LSU. Okay, the offensive line is supposed to be better this year. You hope that Andrew Thomas stays healthy. Like, let's cut the BS. Let's see how this guy goes out and plays. That being said, if I'm a Giants fan, at minimum, I'm gonna do the rushing yards last. I want at least 3,800 passing yards. Okay,
Yeah,
I would really like a 4,000 yard passing season, especially no Saquon this year.
Yeah.
Okay, so the running game, you're gonna imagine that they're gonna air it out.
Let's go 37 to 4,000 yards.
Yep, there you go.
3,700 to 4,000 yards. I'm with you right there.
22 touchdowns at least.
Oh, I'm more. I need at least 25 passing touchdowns.
You know what? I agree.
25 or more passing touchdowns.
25 passing touchdowns and less than 11 interceptions.
12. Okay, we'll meet in the middle.
Okay,
12.
Cool.
Less than 12 interceptions.
Give me a 90 passer rating.
Yeah.
Give me a 90 passer
and
rating.
Rush for whatever you rush for.
And I don't care if this sounds dramatic. It's year 6.
And listen,
We're talking about, should he be a franchise guy or not?
Yeah, 100%. That's what he would need to continue to be on the Giants past this point.
Yep.
By the way, I have an update on this little saga here. So while Mendoza went out, because they were arguing if the catcher was blocking the plate, and Mendoza went screaming out, and there's a hot mic, and he says, "But the rule says you can't stand on home plate without the baseball." And the ump goes, "I'm not arguing with you, Carlos. Take it up with the office." So the umpire agrees with Mendoza. That's what Major League Baseball, the replay center says. But yeah, Giants screwed up. Penix would have been taken at 13.
I don't know about that, though. I don't know if they screwed up.
Why can the Falcons, who just paid Kirk Cousins more money than God, okay? Why can they, with other needs, to go contend this year?
What if the Falcons have a higher evaluation on Michael Penix than the Giants?
They probably do.
You can't force them to draft a guy that they maybe don't love.
I think in a scenario where they're sitting there and saying the same thing I'm saying, and I'm not saying the Giants are going to be competing for a playoff spot. The Falcons are going to be in the playoffs the next 2-3 years. With this roster, with Kirk Cousins, they're going to be in the playoffs winning that division for the next 2 or 3 seasons. They're not going to be in this spot where they're able to take a quarterback. That thought process should go into what the Giants are thinking here. That we might not be in this spot.
If you're somewhat defending this Atlanta pick,
I'm starting to understand the Atlanta pick.
I so disagree.
I'm starting to understand the Atlanta pick a little bit more.
It is not okay. Let's stop the whole. It's the Green Bay Packers model.
Don't say the Green Bay model.
It's not
I don't
the
agree
Green
with
Bay
that.
model
I don't agree with that.
all.
It's not the Green Bay model.
So what is your justification? So these are my points of why it's a terrible pick. Okay. He's going back to the Green Bay model. He's 6 months younger than Jordan Love is.
I don't think it's the Green Bay model.
I'm using that as a point. He's 24 years old. Okay. So by the time that you want this guy to be a quarterback that's leading your team, he's gonna be 27. Okay. He's already in his prime, but that's not a good thing. Like you're minimizing his window. It's gonna be 10 years max. Okay. It's the 8th overall pick. Like this, we're not talking about a late 20s pick. It is the 8th overall pick you used on this guy. You just signed Kirk Cousins to a 4-year, $1 contract. Yeah. Okay. So you're letting it be known that you're in for it right now. The division's very weak right now. The Bucs had a great year last year. I don't think anybody's gonna expect a 99th percentile Baker Mayfield year again. Okay. So the division's supposed to be yours. It's an NFC where who knows what's gonna happen, but you hope that, you're going to win the division and, let's go compete. Let's start thinking about a Super Bowl here. Let's go get a top guy in the draft here. Why in the hell are you drafting a guy 8th overall that isn't going to see the field for at least 3 or 4 years?
Because you have Kirk Cousins, who is, 35, 36 years old. Mm-hmm. He's coming off a torn Achilles.
Don't sign him to a big deal then.
But they signed him to a deal similar to Jones, where there's no guaranteed money after year 2. So they could get out of that contract after 2 years. I think that's their thought process. Like, yeah, we're going to win with Kirk here for the next 2 years with a ready-made roster, and then hopefully slide Michael Penix right into that. Now, listen, the way they went about it, I don't think is right. Because you have a guy, like you mentioned, it's not the Jordan Love situation. You don't have an Aaron Rodgers who's been with the same franchise for 15 years, and they could, 20 years, whatever it was, and the Packers can handle it better. You have to sit there and talk to your quarterback that you just signed, like, hey, we're really thinking about doing this. We want to draft your successor, even though you've never played a game for us. Yep. They could go about that differently, but
I'm also pissed if I'm Penix.
Are you, though? Because that money's different. The money's different.
I'm pissed, though.
There's no guarantee.
I'm 24 years old, and I just got drafted, and I'm going to have to sit on the bench for 3 years?
Well, who the hell knows? Because, again, having a backup quarterback is now the most important thing. One of the more important things in the league.
That Kirk Cousins signing is a win-now move.
I agree.
You're not, like... In that case, then, the Jets should have taken J.J. McCarthy. Why shouldn't the Jets have taken J.J. McCarthy then?
Here we go. If J.J. McCarthy was high on their board, then yeah. If J.J. McCarthy, if they had a first-round grade,
you are in the position right now
grade on
as
him,
Atlanta. This was the 11th best defense in the NFL last year. Okay, so it wasn't, it's not a shutdown defense. It could use some improvement, and especially you could use an edge rusher. Dallas Turner or Latu was right there for the taking. You didn't take him. You go with a quarterback who's not going to see the field, who's not going to help you right now, who's 24 years old, who's injury prone, who is going to sit on your bench for years now. It makes absolutely they tried to outsmart everybody and say, oh, we're gonna pull the Green Bay model here right now. Didn't work.
I don't think it's that bad. I mean, we're talking about a older quarterback that's coming off a major injury. Jam, if the Jets had a really high grade on Michael Penix and he was sitting there at 10 and Joe Douglas said...
Jets are in a different position, though. Jets have a better roster than Atlanta does right now.
Yes.
Atlanta's got some holes on that defense. And they could have drafted a receiver if they wanted to.
I don't know. I think having that...
thought
that you could win after Kirk.
Atlanta is going to be, if they are the team that wins the NFC South, they're going to be that, they'll get steamrolled by... by LA, by San Fran, by the Green Bay, they're just gonna get kicked out.
But the NFC's loaded. Do you think if they drafted a pass rusher that would have changed things?
It would have helped.
But do you think?
You gotta be all in one direction. You can't be in the win now mode, but then say, you know what? Are we really going to have a chance here? Let's not get the pass rusher. Let's think about a quarterback for the future.
If they drafted a pass rusher, do you believe they're better than L.A., San Francisco, Dallas, Green Bay, Detroit,
but they're closer,
or Philadelphia?
But they're closer. So what kind of way to run a team is that? To say, oh, we're not going to jump this team, so let's not build for right now. How about this? This isn't the only draft of all time. Next year, they're going to have a chance to, again, build on this team.
But maybe this guy...
free agency. They have young weapons. Drake London, Kyle Pitts, they just picked up his 5th-year option. Bijan, your 3 best players, you're still not going to have to pay yet, besides Kyle Pitts, who you're paying the option to. So you have the money to go out there and maybe sign another big free agent, make a splash. Who knows what draft pick they're going to have next year. You build this roster for the next couple of years.
But if this guy was truly, like they say, the number 2, they rated him as the number 2 quarterback in this class, and he's still there after 3 quarterbacks just went off the board, and another one's going after, and then obviously we had Knicks go. We'll talk about him in 1 second. How do you pass on that, knowing he's going in the teens with one of those 3 teams?
You pass on it because you're not in the position to take a quarterback right now. You'd select the quarterback when Kirk Cousins is in the last year of his deal. You let him sit on the bench for a year, then you put him in.
But and I saw this take from somebody, and
you're not Green Bay. It's Kirk Cousins, not Aaron Rodgers. You're not sitting behind a future first ballot Hall of Famer.
No, I get
this
that
wonderful system they have in place.
I get that, but don't you think that the people that have been around Atlanta the past few years saw the quarterback hell that they've been in since Ryan retired, and even in the last couple of years of Ryan, and said, man, we don't want to be stuck with, bridge quarterbacks before we find the next one.
It's not a problem right now.
If we believe that this guy could be the quarterback for the next 6-7 years after he takes over, like I think that's
not a problem
worth
right
it.
now. You're thinking too far ahead. You could do this in 2 years, in 3 years. You don't have to
How do
it
you
right
know?
now.
But how you're not going to be in a position to select that guy? Are they going to have they're not going to have the 8th pick
The Kansas City, they should have followed the Chiefs model. The Chiefs selected Patrick Mahomes. Alex Smith had one more year in him. The Chiefs were selecting 27th that year. They traded up to 10. They got their guy and Patrick Mahomes. I'm not saying Atlanta's just going to be able to easily find the next greatest quarterback of all time, but they should have done the Chiefs model, not the Atlanta model. I mean, the Green Bay model.
Very quickly, Bo Nix. I think Bo Nix is not my cup of tea, but I think for Sean Payton and the Broncos, it works.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm
and
not
dunk
going to knock
offense.
it too much, honestly. We'll see. They're going to suck next year. It's an awful situation for a rookie quarterback. Sean Payton is just, talk about douches. The guy just acts like he's smarter than everybody else, and he's gloating about, making everybody think he was going to take J.J. McCarthy. It's going to be rough in Denver, and I think honestly that Bo Nix I don't think it's going to work out. I really don't think it's going to work out.
Well, we'll be talking about this all off season long. Episode 131 in the books. Come back next week. Big episode. Maybe a little baseball next week. This is Mets Dilemma. Jesus, go Knicks. And we'll talk to you guys next time.